Alright, today we're doing something fun. We're looking at the bees again. Now this is a combination of the first and second inspection. The first inspection, we just wanted to go in there and make sure the queen was out and take away an extra box and add some frames to get rid of some of the empty space we left with the queen. But here you can see I'm spraying the bees off. I just got the hive opened up. And this was about 3 or 4 days after I installed the package. And I didn't want to use smoke this time because I heard some people saying you can aggravate them or set them back a day or two if you smoke them too early. And this one still had the queen in the cage. And I was really hoping she was out by now, but you can see here she wasn't out. So putting some more frames back in, and I'm just going to tuck that queen cage kind of in between some frames. I think they had a little too much space at the beginning. But if you stick around to the end of this video, you're going to see I did get stung a few times. I put them in at the end. But on this first inspection, maybe I should have smoked them beforehand. And you can see they just hadn't eaten away all the candy.
That bee's eating the candy, right?
So there's a piece of candy in there that the bees are supposed to eat to get the queen out. And they had not finished that yet in this box. But I wanted to get that super out of the way. And now I'm adding some more sugar to the top after I had removed the super. And just that frame part. And we're putting the inner cover back on. And I had gotten stung a few times by this point, so I switched over to some long sleeves. And we pulled out some wax as well from one of the hives. They were starting to build wax. That's pretty much what you're doing, is you're checking for your queen, make sure she got out, and then if there's any wax in any areas you don't want, you're gonna scrape that out. So this is still the first inspection. And this is the last hive. Now this hive was pretty calm. I didn't get stung at all from this hive. I had one hive that was a little more aggressive than the other two hives. But I didn't use any smoke this time, which was probably my mistake. I probably should have used smoke. But I didn't want the bees to be set back at all. So. And you can see this box is doing pretty well. Now I left the space because I wanted the queen to have enough room to get out. I didn't want her to be crammed anywhere with the cage. I saw online some people said they had trouble with their queen cage if they were face down and they hit the bottom. So this is about 7 days later. I was checking. And what we did here is we put some powdered sugar in between the frames. And we sprinkled it on most of the bees to try to, it's supposed to be a Varroa mite treatment. So the Varroa mites are really bad for bees. It's been a more common problem. It's a newer thing that's been happening over the years. And some people treat their bees really often for these Varroa mites. I want to do something chemical free, and this powdered sugar is something I saw people doing, and they seem to swear by it. So what I was doing was I was taking out the frames and checking them. Now here I'm looking for the queen, and I'm also checking to see if there's any eggs. If there's eggs, you don't really need to spot the queen. We know she's been in there in the last 3 days. And this is 7 days later now. This is after I had removed the middle part. You can see we're dusting them off with some powdered sugar. It was windy this day. It was probably not a very good day to be doing this. I wanted to make sure they had sugar. I wanted to make sure all the queens had gotten out. And by this point, all my queens were out. Every hive was looking very healthy. And we just wanted to make sure they had enough simple syrup on top, and we wanted to get on top of the Varroa mite treatment early. So we did this, and I'm being very careful with these frames. Not to squish anyone. So here's us putting the feeder box back on. You can see some powdered sugar got into the feeder box, but that's okay. And this was the day I did smoke the bees. This was 7 days later, and the smoke really helped. I didn't get stung at all this day. It seemed to totally calm them down. I actually fished one out here that got stuck in the simple syrup. And these are supposed to be drown-proof feeders, but it seems like sometimes they get stuck in there. Filling this up with the simple sugar. We're just using 1 part sugar to 1 part water. Deboil it, mix it, let it cool down. And this is supposed to just give the package of bees a little head start, kind of help them since they're travel all this way to get here, and their queen's not laying yet. So cage is, and they actually put some comb around it too. That little piece of plastic I had wedged in there. This was one of the queens that had not escaped yet, but I tucked her in there that way. And by now I'm coming in to check and she has gotten out. And here I'm using the smoke. The smoker was hard to keep lit. I was having trouble with it. It was like a very windy day. But it wasn't like constant wind. It would just, it would die off and then come back. But here I'm gonna pop this frame open. Pull that queen out. Now if she was still in the cage at this point, I probably would have picked away at some of the candy to help the bees get her out, but the cage was totally empty. And this has been 7 days now since I installed the bee package. We have a video installing the bee package if you want to check that out. Put 30,000 bees into these beehives. And I didn't get stung once that day. It was a pretty good day.
You can see the comb starting to form already? Maybe I'll pull it out just so you can see.
So you can see here they started building some comb all around where that queen cage was. And these frames are already starting to get covered with wax.
We'll drop it back in.
They're hard.
7 days in and these bees are going to town. And this one I'm going to try a different method. I saw some people did the sugar this way. They would just kind of sprinkle it on the top of the frames and then brush it in. And some people said this didn't work as well. Some people said it worked. I kind of want to try both ways and see what works
I don't
best.
think they need too much, honestly.
Is that it?
It seems like there's lots of natural things you can do for the Varroa mites. There's a lot of stuff with essential oils, but you gotta be careful.
They're only over here.
Dilution. You don't want to use too much essential oils. It can be like harmful.
Cool.
This powdered sugar seems to be pretty easy, and bees don't mind it.
I need to wash that hair brush.
Now put in the feeder box. And I'm gonna fill that back up with simple syrup too. It's only been 7 days, and this simple syrup is going pretty fast every time I fill it up. So
Yeah.
the sugar water should give them a little boost, get the colony started. And I noticed out in the yard that had all kinds of flowers opening up. I planted marigolds all around the beehives, and I threw a bunch of flower seeds down now. So hopefully we'll get some more. But the garden's starting to pop off. We're having peppers and eggplants, so these bees should have plenty of stuff to forage. Plus all the native flowers, like elderberry starting to flower. I should be very happy. So thank you for watching. That was the 7-day inspection. And here's me getting
Did you
stung.
get a
It's
sting?
on my arm. I thought it was just gonna sit there, and then it stung me. It got me good.
Maybe.
Here's another time I got stung. This one got me on the nose. I was not very happy about that.